to our channel. So today we're going to be doing a video about things we wish we knew as first generation college students. So we're very excited. This is a topic that's really close to our hearts, so we hope that you will enjoy it and that you'll learn a thing or two. Make sure you subscribe anytime during this video and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you don't miss a thing. So now let's get to it.
Yeah, so we are first generation college students. We were actually born in Ethiopia and actually came when we were little kids, and we grew up here, ended up going to college. But unfortunately for us, we were the first, or one of the first in our family to go, and no one really knew about college and the expenses and all these things. So we ended up having to learn and now pay for all those mistakes or costs that we had incurred.
Education is really important to our parents. They definitely pushed us to pursue higher education, and we really appreciate that. But we wish that we had done our homework and learned certain things that would have been essential and would help us now that we are older and we've graduated and we are paying back the money that we owe for the education that we received. So we just want to make sure that any of you guys watching who are maybe looking into colleges or are in college or are future college students, just to give you guys some advice, some things that we wish we had known, that we would love anyone that is in our position to know. So we hope that these things will help you and that it will kind of give you a better understanding of college and the financial burdens that it may cause some people.
The first thing is really understanding the actual cost of college. So the most important thing you can do, especially when if you are a parent or if you are a senior, that is applying to colleges, what we would really recommend, even if you're a college student in your first or second year, what we really would recommend is understanding tuition rates and how they work. Now, I believe all colleges must show their tuition rates somewhere on their website. That does not mean that it's easy to find, but you're able to find it, at least for the past year. And you can kind of gauge what it's gonna be. It's not gonna be $10,000 more, I assume. It's probably gonna be $1,000, $2,000 more for this upcoming year. So you can kind of gauge it that way. So what I would recommend is go onto your school's website and find, I think it's either tuition rate or schedule or something like that.
You should be able to find maybe the range. I know I kind of looked it up when I was applying to colleges. So you should kind of find some information about it. It might not be accurate, but it can give you an idea.
Most tuition is by credit. So I don't know if there might be a few colleges that do flat rate tuition, but most colleges do per credit. So per credit you pay X, but then there's a minimum that you have to pay when you're a full-time student and you're a part-time student. So really understand the whole thing. Don't just understand hey, it's $50,000 per year. Now, you want to really understand, is it per year? Are you sure it's per year, or is that per semester? Colleges are really expensive, and you really want to take your time figuring out how much they actually cost. Number two, really shop around for your colleges. I know your dream college might be X. However, you have to know that education is the same at another college. Maybe there's some perks, maybe there's some some things that that college has that you want to have, but if you're willing to pay for it, then there's no way we can tell you otherwise, or anyone can tell you otherwise. However, if you really see education as your main goal and a job at the end as your main goal, it doesn't matter. Only a few professions does it matter where you go to college. And for most professions and for most college students, I would really recommend doing in-state schools and really recommend shopping around, even if it's going to be out of state, shopping around for out of state, particularly in states where living cost is cheaper. You really want to shop around there. So yeah,
and I mean, a lot of times not everybody can afford to pay the tuition, you
Yeah.
you can't pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
So the second thing is make sure you understand your loans and what they
Yes.
need. Like in my experience, I really didn't know. Like I understood what subsidized and unsubsidized loans were, like right before I graduated, like when they were going over like your basically your loans. That's when I was like, oh, that's what it means. Okay. So just make sure you understand, you take the time to research what those loans mean, like what you're getting yourself into. Make sure you just do your research and really comprehend like the cost and everything like that. Yeah.
So quick understanding of loans. There's subsidized and unsubsidized loans. That's something that's very easy to explain. Subsidized loans means the federal government is going to be paying interest for your loan. That doesn't mean that they're going to pay off your loan. They're paying interest while you're in school. The unsubsidized loans is accruing interest while you're in school. So loans are going to be, kind of your last resort to get money. And then I would say out of the loans, I would say unsubsidized is the last resort, because that loan will grow so quickly when you're in there for 4 years, because you're not paying interest, and that interest is just accruing constantly. There are also other types of loans.
Yeah, there are like private loans and
Yep.
stuff like that if you have to get coverage for your tuition. So
Yeah.
just really do your research.
Don't be scared to live at home if you can. I know it's hard, but you can make some kind of agreement with your parents or something just to have a little bit of privacy, but really don't be scared. That is one of the most expensive costs in college, and people end up taking out loans just for that.
It's really expensive. I think we don't think about like living expenses, because especially if you live on campus, you have to pay for the room and board, and then you gotta pay for like the food that you don't think about. You may want to eat out. Like there's a lot of things that come, a lot of costs that you don't think about when you're first going to college that you then like have to learn about. And so just really make sure you weigh your options. And, don't be scared. It's okay. Like you could do a community college for a year or two, and then if you're
Taking
working
general classes.
on this, you could take your general courses and then maybe transfer to an in-state school. So I have a lot of friends that did that, and that really saved them money. Some of them don't have to pay any loans at all. So like I'm proud of them for doing that at such a young age and knowing that. And so really that is something that, if you are in this kind of position, and the average person, like I said, cannot just pay $30,000-$40,000 a year. So just weigh your options and don't be scared. It's okay. Like you're not, you're still going to school. You're still going to get the education, just a different way.
Outside of loans, there are scholarships. People think that you can't go and research scholarships. I promise you this. Those are the people that don't apply to the scholarships and don't get the scholarships. And that's when other people who are taking the time to actually apply get them. I applied for a scholarship literally on the deadline day. It was in school. It was $1,000 scholarship, but hey, I got an email about it, and somebody emailed me saying, hey, the deadline is today. I wrote the essay. I had nothing to do that day. I wrote the essay quickly. I turned it in before it was due, and guess what? I won the scholarship. You know why? Probably because nobody else applied.
Yeah.
Or possibly maybe my full application was a lot more appealing, but who knows? At the end of the day, if I don't apply, then I would not get it. I would really recommend you taking the time, look at as many scholarships as you can. Even the grants, the Gates Scholarship obviously is the king of all scholarship. That's not the only scholarship that exists, and that's not the only one that's lucrative. There's so many scholarships. There are so many people that end up not just not paying for school, but actually getting paid to go to school. Research your scholarships. We'll leave links to some really good scholarship websites, but honestly, it's you doing the research, because there's scholarships everywhere.
If you have any resource centers in your school, use them. Because most of the people that work there know what scholarships are coming up, the deadlines. Sometimes they have scholarships for just a specific group of people. So just take advantage of it, and just connect with people that are maybe in that field that you want to go to, so that they can help you maybe figure out or point you to to that direction. So
yeah, and also if you are a college student in your major, most likely there are scholarships for your major specifically. And so I would go to your office, like the office for your major, if you have one. If you're not, I think student services or whoever kind of handles your classes or where your teachers meet, I would recommend really talking to them, because there are probably, you know, just a bunch of endowments that are going towards specific majors. And so I would really recommend you going to that office and just asking about potential scholarships that you can get. Most of the ones in college are merit-based, but there are obviously some that are based on race or sex or other things like that. I would recommend you just apply to things that you feel like you could possibly get.
And I would also recommend like that you kind of write up different essays for different scholarships, so that when something comes up, you have essays ready and you can just tweak things around to make it match whatever they're asking. So just be smart and try to have different options for yourself. So yeah.
And I think the one that I feel like most people don't want to do is working during school. Now, there are different types of jobs that exist. There are jobs that integrate your schoolwork. Really, I would recommend being an RA, being somebody that works in some kind of like student services or on campus doing something that's related either to your major or that's related to some kind of activity if you want to have more entertainment. I was an RA and I honestly, it was so simple. Like that was probably one of the easiest jobs I could do. I got to go out when I wanted to, except on the days I was on, which was like once or twice a week. And at night I had to be in my room. So what does that mean? Study. I will be honest with you. I don't think I studied that much in my room. I probably played video games more than I studied, but it encouraged me to study. And I had an excuse to study, and I would, and not like go out and just, you know, do nothing but spend money. I made money. On top of that, as an RA, I could work as like a security person in the building, which is the same job that I had. Technically, I just had to sit in front of the door, and I made $9 per hour just sitting and studying, literally just hanging out in the building that I would have already hung out in the whole night. I was getting paid for it. That was a job that was really impactful. Free meal plan, free dorms, plus a check.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah, you could do like work study as well. I did that all 4 years of college, just sitting at a desk, saying hi to people and studying, like literally. And so just take advantage of the options that you have. And don't be scared to ask questions. I know that it can be a little intimidating or scary, but just ask. It's okay.
Honestly, I will tell you, working not only helps you when it comes to income, it also helps you with experience. And so having that job definitely gave me a resume. I didn't just have internships, but I actually had paid jobs. So when someone was looking at my jobs, I had references, I had professional references, I had a professional job in a campus setting. However, you know, it was a job. And so they could see that I was responsible and I could be professional. So it does more than you think. So being an RA, I think, is the number one thing for me. Work study, if you can get it, another one. And I also did proctoring, meaning like there'll be people who come in who do online testing, and I would just kind of watch them take the test, basically, you know, making sure that people aren't cheating. That, I think I got paid like $12 an hour, and it was like on Saturdays, and I did it with my best friend. And so it was literally us sitting in an office monitoring people. We just had a screen where we were monitoring everybody else's screen, and that job was easy as well. So there's so many things.
How did you get that?
I just went there and asked because I'm on campus. It's like right there. I walked there and I was like, oh, do you guys have a job? They're like, oh yeah, we're looking for these people because it's a new semester, because they get brand new people in. They were like, if you want, you can apply. I literally applied and got the job the next day. So, and then I had training 2 weeks later. I was like already doing it. I did it for a semester. I made like a few $1,000s that semester, and that's more money than I had.
Because I mean, there's a lot of expenses. You don't think about like books, like And then maybe materials that some classes require, like it depends on your major, but some classes require some materials, like if you have a lot of labs, like you're gonna need maybe some equipments and things like that.
Yeah, so, and here's also another hack, a book hack. Go to the library.
Yeah.
You don't know how many people do not check the library for those specific books. The worst possible thing that could happen is someone else checks it out when you're, or gets in line when you have it checked out. A lot of people don't like waiting in line for a book, number one, so they don't do it. So you could just renew that book. Trust me, if you can do that, that will save you so much money.
It will.
So much money. And all these university libraries are so large and so interconnected that they borrow from each other. So you can get a book. I was in Minnesota. I was getting a book from from New York, from California, because they were like connected to the library system that I worked with.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a friend that took that class and they have that book, just share it. Or, if you guys are in the same major and you took one class one semester and the other person took another class another semester, just kind of switch and share, because you guys will help each other out. College ain't cheap, y'all.
It's not cheap.
Obviously, these tips are solely based on the experiences we had as first-generation college students, and I'm sure that there's so many other tips that we didn't mention that you all have. And so we hope that these little tips that we mentioned will help one person or more. We hope that it will help you in your college search, or if you went through what we went through as first-generation college student. So we hope that you enjoyed this video, and we hope that it helps someone out there. Like I said, make sure that you leave any comments, any tips that we've missed in the comments below.
Subscribe.
No, I'm really just